Right.
Okay, so welcome, Anne, and thank you for your willingness to share your learning journey using and applying the Reaset approach. But before we go into your experiences, I want to know a bit about yourself. Who are you? Where do you work? And also, if we can already address a little bit from who are your patients? Who is coming to seek help from you? So 3 questions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm Annie from Brazil. I'm originally from Manaus, Amazon. I live all my life in the south of Brazil. It's a huge country. And I started my career as a physiotherapist about 15 years ago. I used to working with something else. I had another college. Then one day, I have one crab accident, and I couldn't walk. I just stopped to work. Nothing was broke, but I had a really serious injuries in my spine. Then I went to see many doctors, physiotherapists, and no one could stand me. Then little by little, I start to have interest in to know what was wrong. It was my mind, it was my body, what was wrong. And I started to study about this. And I saw, in that time, can you imagine? I was a managed administration, managed for logistics. I used to working with the logistics, ships, transportation, and everything. Nothing with help. And I start to study about this. And I say, well, that seems good. Seems good. Then I say, I'm going to study this. And I went to the college to study physiotherapy because of myself. Then I went to college and I finished. The time when I was about in the 2 or 3 years studying physiotherapy, I got interested for osteopathy also. Then I say, I'm going to do both. And I studied both at the same time. I went to 2 schools. One in the morning, the other one in the afternoon. Because I want this so much. And especially cranial and spine. But at the end of my college, I was really good. I could walk. I couldn't go to the gym. I go to do everything, So I say, okay. I start to get patients very well with very serious pathology. Everything in the spine. I say, okay, there is something that I understand very well is about spine. And for some reason, most of my patients, even nowadays, they have some all the pathology come like aneurysm, heart attack. They come with hernia. To talk with them, I find out that they have a trauma problem. They have one accident, they lost someone, so their body closed it. Then they want to work, their mind closed it, and they want to live anymore. It was all in pain, and the body was just sending pain.
Yeah, now and then you're breaking up, but I do understand that most of your patients have neurological conditions that preamble their physical conditions, right? And so that also their mindset, and that they had a trauma, and that this trauma is set into the body, and that there we are really speaking about mind matter conditions, that's a kind of psychosomatic conditions that creating disease. Coming into the reset approach, how did you get to hear about it? How did you get to hear about me? Because at the end of the day, I remember the little WhatsApp message that you wrote to me very kindly while I was on my way to India, saying, "From Tom, I want to meet you."
Wow. What is that? My English is not so good like this. So that was very, very, I was working here in Brazil. Then I was just like, look, my patients, for example, the doctor sent to me and say, oh, they have to do 30,000 physiotherapy. Then I look at them, but it's possible. Okay, they say, I can do in 10 and 5, Then they become good, and I send to Pilates, because in my cabinet we have a Pilates and you have physiotherapy. And I say, okay. I say to my colleague, no, it's not with me, it's for Pilates. Then I start to get boring. And seems like I say, no, I need something else. There is more. I don't know. I'm looking for something, but I don't know what. Then I decide to get vacation. And I say, oh, I'm going to travel and looking for something in this world. I go to Europe. I like Europe. And I'm going to Belgium, because there's a lot of osteopathy school. I want to looking for colleagues that working as a physiotherapist, and I ask them to see how they work, and I need something. And I did that. I went to Europe, first to Switzerland. I went to the Red Cross. I was looking for something. They say, no, it's not here. I saw what the colleagues was doing in Switzerland. They say there's nothing different. I want something else. Then I went to Belgium, and I visit 3 colleagues. I saw the job. I saw some things. I need something else. Then one day I start to research in my computer, and I say, osteopathy. Then I start to see all the colleagues in the school, they're working with osteopathy. Then I say, Tom Mayer, what you do? Then I sort of Facebook. I went to the Facebook. I say, what the hell is that? I say, this I never hear about. This I never heard about. Let me check then and say, okay. Maybe you say you are crazy. Maybe didn't answer, but I try. I'm not the kind of person that give up easy. Then I send, and I say, okay, maybe you say no, but if you allow me, I want to see his job, That's very interesting. Please, I need to know what is that. Then I send you a message to let you know. I went there and I say, what do I need? And so for my surprise, you answered from the airport. Then I was more surprised when I say, do I have to study something, read something till I go to meet you, to see your job? Nothing. Just forget about everything. Oh, I study years, and now he said to me, forget about everything. I say, what is that? No,
Yeah.
I won't. That's the way I meet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it really fell together, because then I came back from India, got back in contact with you, and then I had like this other person requesting to learn the reset approach. So I created an impromptu course for two here in my practice, and that's how it all started, and it is like you would say, from in India and in other places like in Dubai, I have larger groups, but here it was so spontaneous, and you were going back to Brazil, and I, when we met, we connected, and I said, from okay, let's do this, even if it's with two people, we went for it. And it was such a great intimate course. And so I want to know. And so I told you, you don't have to come with any baggage. Just, I knew you were a physio. I knew you were studying osteopathy. So yeah, have baggage. And then you came here and we started on that first day. So what was your first impression of the reset approach in that first day?
well, that's I kept for myself the first day. The first day when we start, I say, okay, and how can just I knew something about craniosacral, because we working with a very, very soft thoughts and body. But I say, but you were talking about something else. You say like you have to live, the body and the system works and everything. Say, how? We are talking about nervous system, autonomic nervous system. How can you do that? So my first impression, I say, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. It is complex and at the same time seems so easy. No, cannot be this. But my first impression, I thought I wasn't able to do that. But I say, okay, let's go. If it's possible, I will do it. I'm here. I'm not going back. So
Yeah. And then by the end of the first day, you did it.
did. I did. And and it was amazing because I was so scared about it. Say, oh, how can I do this? Of course, you are still part. With long time, you create this, and I say, oh my God, who am? The things like I know I can do it, but I don't know. I don't know if my hands will be able to do that. And it was amazing.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
so a little bit of explanation there as well, in the sense that, the reset approach is, of course, based from osteopathy, and it has elements of craniosacral therapy, fasciotherapy, abdominal therapy, spinal manipulations are all included. So there is nothing excluded. But even though that from the outside, sometimes it may seem that, oh, but you're doing craniosacral. It's not because I have my hands on the same place as a craniosacral therapist that I'm doing the same thing. The intention and the attention is very different. For example, I don't look at PRM, and so the primary respiratory mechanism in the reset approach, we don't really look at that. While it is present, of course, but it's not my main attention and objective. It's like, we are receivers. We are just allowing whatever comes to us to express itself. And it's a combination of things. It's never one thing by itself. And to be able to feel that is, of course, a challenge. And that it's what makes it very easy. You don't look for anything. you let the things come to you. But that is, of course, making it very, let's say it's simplex, simple and complex at the same time. It's very simple because you don't have to do anything. You just have to allow things to be processed, and you are just a receiver of information that you have to listen to and accompany, so facilitate. While if you go for fascia therapy, or you go into more craniosacral types of therapies, then you're looking always for something. And there is this balance. From there's always, are we looking, or are we doing, or are we listening, and are we just facilitating? And of course, the reset approach is very much into the scale of listening, trying not to do, and just let the body do the work, but using us as an instrument. And that is very important. That it seems a bit daunting. How can I feel this? And even within the hour, you can do it. But there is always the resistance of our own minds, that the Twitter inside is, am I feeling this? Is it me? No, that's the patient. And that's why also when you're always working on a one-on-one basis, so in courses, there is one patient, one therapist, and then you change. And there is not 4 therapists or 4 therapists for one patient. It doesn't work like that. In the courses, we must have a one-on-one learning possibility, and then the communication between the two. And so always getting the feedback from, what did you feel? What did I feel? And then you become the therapist or the patient yourself, and then you feel it. And then that's the way you're going to learn. Okay, we have to move on a little bit. So that was the first impression of the reset approach, which is like very scary. But at the end, you were actually doing it an hour or 2 hours later. And so we organized our course that it was not all in one go, and not a 4-day course as such, but it were 2 days and then a couple of days on the week after. But when you went back to Brazil, were you able to apply it straight away into your practice?
Yeah, of course. I was excited to start with this. My first impression was, am I able to activate the system with my hand? Then I find out, yes. Now I say, let me see what can I do, because only practice can tell you that. There is no way. There's not another way. You have to apply. Then I start to work in it straight. I did two experiences. I separated group, adult, start with reset, and doing the same with an adult to see the difference. And yes, I apply direct in different cases here. So
that's the interesting part about you and Ingrid. You're like a researcher. You're doing personal research on yourself that you have shown already from, with your accident, and then you're studying physiotherapy to get better yourself and really wanting to understand what is going on. And here you did the same thing. As soon as you went back, and we have had many conversations since, and we actually already met twice again, once in Holland and once here in Belgium, because you're over quite often, that you are saying okay, now I have this new approach, I can apply it, and I am going to test it out if this is indeed the technique that I was missing, and also, is it helping my patients? You had then a set of patients where you did not use the reset approach, and a set of patients where you did use the reset approach, and then you just observe from who is getting the better results, and where are the results faster. And this is what I think it was amazing, that you said okay, there is no doubt in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is no doubt in my mind, but with the reset approach, it's better for my patients. They get healed faster. And that is my objective. And so you just started to do it all the time.
Yes, I did. And especially Tom, my first patients that I applied, I tried the reset. It was a patient I remember very well. It's a patient with a cancer.
Yes.
So she has she was in the treatment for a long time, and every time. Oh, I forgot something. Before I back to Brazil, I applied reset in Belgium for one lady. She was in treatment for cancer, and she told after applied the reset, she told me that she went to do the radiotherapy, the chemotherapy, and she didn't feel anything after.
Yeah.
She didn't have nausea. She didn't have anything. She went to the hospital to receive the medicine, the chemotherapy. Then she went to work. And everybody was asking her, did you get the chemotherapy? Yes. And she couldn't feel anything. So that was my first experience. In Belgium, while I was just after I finished the course with you. Then
That
when
was
I
already
back to
amazing by itself. So you're staying here in Belgium, and then you learned it, and
yeah,
straight away you apply it with somebody here that you got to meet, and the benefits were remarkable, right? Because after chemo, most people are sick for 1 or 2 days, and then with this patient, suddenly no more this sickness after chemo, which is already
that was
it's
amazing.
amazing. I have never
Amazing.
used it in that way, but this is like, again,
I
I'm
did
saying, and
twice.
I said, yeah, and I said it to you from the beginning, and you will do more with it than I will ever do, because your patients are not my patients. We get a very different type of patient. Each and every single manual therapist attracts something, and you attracted that, which I haven't had attracted before. And so, I welcomed also to see from how the reset approach evolves and how it has been used in different situations like yours. Okay,
Yeah,
and now,
I
so
use,
in Brazil, what are you doing now? So you're using it all the time?
yeah. Nowadays, I use all the time. As a first things I do, and my patients, because when I back, as I said, I used to see how long these patients will take out from the situation he was, you know. So I saw that I couldn't find the problem much ease with the reset. And in doubt, I saw that patients was just like, going back. Then I say, okay, lie down, let's go to reset. And the reset was just like, I don't know, are you pray in my head? Something like that. Even they ask everything. They say, I relax, I do this, I do this. So nowadays, all the patients, when they come, they say, okay, so let's see where we're going to start here.
Okay.
So I do first the reset, then I do anything else that is necessary.
So how
I
long
use
does a
my tool.
treatment take for you? How long do people come to you for in one session? How long does it take?
5, 4, 5.
That is the 4 or 5 sessions. But how
Yeah.
long does one session take? Is that 30 minutes, 40 minutes?
Oh, sorry. Oh, it depends. I never know exactly. There is not a time exactly. They say, I'm going to take these patients, I'm going to stay 1 hour. No, doesn't working like that, because everybody, every system responds different. So I can take, like, for example, 40 minutes. I can take one more than 1 hour. But the first time the patients come with me, I take like 1 hour and 15 minutes at least. Because this body needs to calm down, and the patient seems like he's fighting with himself and his mind. And so till the system let me to working together, this takes some time.
So I do understand, and Ingrid, that we have very complicated cases, right? And then that first session to take an hour and a quarter is very normal. I do the same thing. So for long COVID, the first session, I always say to my patients to take in my online agenda those appointments with an hour and a quarter, so that we have the time needed to really get to the bottom in that first session straight away, right? Because the reset approach is a very slow process in these complicated cases. In some, with backache, chronic backache, or there is something that is more simple, then of course the treatment itself is about 30 minutes. But often we need to also explain to our patients what we are going to do, what their problems stem from, so that they have a better understanding of what is going on within them, why they are feeling that they feel, that has not been able to explain by general practitioners or by specialists, because when they come to us, most of the time, the patients have gone through a whole series of treatments that obviously haven't worked, and then they get to us, and then we're trying to frame it within the Reset Approach framework, explaining about the autonomic nervous system and how these affect body, mind, and spirit. And so, yes,
Exactly.
so I think it's a fantastic way to start, definitely the first session, with a lot more explaining needed. And the second session is then much shorter, because they trust you. They have already felt that there is a difference, and then they don't need that explanation anymore, and we just can go straight into it. And of course, the second time, the body's already used to it, used to that reset approach, used to you as a therapist and a person. And suddenly, that second session is always much lighter. And we just go to the next level of that healing system. So great. I understand also that you've used it on autistic children. Is that right?
Yes, I tried also with the children with autism, kids with, for example, they have some trauma problem with like a accident, and it was very, very amazing the results. First of all, is because it's not very easy to working with the kids, children. Teenage is not difficult, so they have to believe and to allow you to touch, especially autism. Then I saw that they become more calm. That was amazing. The first autist I used it, Reset. He came to me, and he was just like running up and down. He couldn't stop. Then I used a different way. I had something in my hand that was very interesting for him. Then he come and lie down in my arms. And that moment, I started to working with him, and just put my hand in a different way, and he just calmed down. The second time he came straight and jumped to my massage table. He jumped and lie down and say, "Okay, Auntie, I'm here."
Oh, this is again, this is such a great story because you are showing the flexibility of the approach. It's not needed to have a massage table to do the reset approach,
No,
right?
no.
You'll find a way to place your hands and do it, right? I've been on holiday where people needed some help, and I've been treating in the sofa. I've been treating people in a bed. I've been treating people on the kitchen table, so to speak. And you can do it on the beach. You can really apply the reset approach to help people, and so the good thing about it is you have it always with you. Once you learned it, you always have it with you. And that is also why I want to get it into space, because if I can get it into space, I can get it anywhere. But the reset approach is you learn it, you have it. Wherever you are in the world and wherever you are on which planet you end up to, you can use it. And you can do and give somebody, that calm, that ease, and help them get better quicker. Yeah. And in space, I mean, space travel is stressful when they are away to a journey to Mars, which is in a very closed environment with a lot of responsibilities and also extreme conditions. So to help them to cope with that, I believe that the reset approach is something that should be researched and should be taken on the journey. Anyway, we are slowly getting to the end of this interview, but how would you describe in your own words what the reset approach is?
How can I explain to you? I mean, I'm going to give you one example. What is reset in my job? I have one special case for one patient with 65 years old after one serious accident. This is after I back to Brazil, like 1 month after I back to Brazil. He has plaque, he has screws in his body, and he couldn't touch. Even the wind, the t-shirt, everything was painful for him. He couldn't use air conditioning, nothing. It was pain 24 hours. And I said, okay, now is the big test of reset approach and for myself. So I working after 1 month. He came to me twice a week. At the end of 1 month, this man was with his high blood pressure equilibrate, diabetes was down is normal. He couldn't drive and do Pilates. He couldn't hug his son that was 3 years that he couldn't hug his own son of 7 years old. He couldn't lie down with his wife. Everything. So what happened? I all in working with the reset approach. This case, I didn't use any other tools. I just applied reset straight for 6 times. This time for 6. Then he went to do another thing. So how can I say about reset? There is something else and more than I actually know.
So do you think with the reset approach, you have found that what you were missing?
Yes. That's it. It was the piece I was looking for. And this space, inside of this space, is much more. I know this. You know, because I know there is much things I still need more and more and practice more and to know more than about, because the small things I'm doing about reset, I got great results.
No,
Nowadays.
and that example of that man who, after an accident, had pain for 24 hours, could not be touched, could not even, in Brazil without air conditioning. So it's very hot because of that kind of wind on the skin, and even clothes on the skin, always painful. And then you gave him 6 sessions of the reset approach and nothing else. And suddenly he was able to hug his wife and hug his kid again, that he hadn't been able to do for 3 years. This is just such an amazing story. And then you see from how the power that lies within our hands when we use them in the right way, how far it can go. So, I think it's congratulations to you, dear one, because at the end of the day, you trusted it, you took it on, and you discovered something. And I'm only a facilitator. Well, only yes, I have developed that. Yes, I have taught you that. But at the end of the day, you took it on, and I really congratulate you for your audacity, really, to try something new. So
thank you.
Okay, so to the manual therapist community, what would you give them as advice?
Okay, I will say that whatever they are doing, they can do better. Whatever we are doing for manual therapy, we just stop because there is something else. If you can improve much more. Starting from the beginning, and the beginning is nervous system. If you start this, whatever you're doing, and other colleagues, whatever you're doing, you can do better by applying reset approach.
Yeah.
That's my message, because
thank you. And I couldn't agree more. How can you treat somebody's lower back or neck or shoulder or any other problem when that stress response, that autonomic nervous system, has a sympathetic tone, and the parasympathetic tone is inhibited, or so there is a disbalance, there is sort of dysautonomia, which is far more common today than ever before due to the changes in our way of living and working. The demands on us have increased, but our resources and our capacity to adapt and manage change, is ancient, and it needs support. And in any kind of healing, is it from cancer? Is it from musculoskeletal pain, digestive problems, insomnia, depression? That autonomic nervous system is in a autonomic lesion, fixed or still able to malleable, but it needs treatment first. And that is what we do in the Reset approach.
Exactly. That is the first thing. It's like right now I'm treating a patient that he broke his foot. So what I can do? I go to reset. So all the body allows to be healthy again, And he coming with help to work. After the first section, I say, leave it there. Put your foot. Step with your own foot. It's painful. Okay, it's painful, but it's okay. No, he goes to working like this. So it's like the body needs to be prepared to receive, and he needs, and if we taught in the right place, and if you trust, you can do much better than you are doing. You don't need much. You don't need much.
And as you say, I had somebody with a foot problem this week as well. And for any problem that come, I will do the reset approach first. First, prepare, then treat. At the end, treat locally the symptom, right? And then I go back into the reset after the treatment of the symptom. I just do a quick recheck of the reset with the reset approach, and then they go home. And like you had a patient today who has like a drop foot after, twisted her ankle, and the drop foot was there and it was really painful. We treated the reset approach, we fixed the drop foot, and she was able to walk again. And it's like, that's a miracle. It's not a miracle. It's just we're following the new rules of health and healing in the 21st century. Anyway, Anne-Ingrid, I really want to thank you that you took the time out from your busy practice. I know you are busy, and that you are allowing me to interview you so we can inspire other manual therapists to take the leap. And also for those who are searching that missing link, because they're seeing that the techniques that you're using today, if you feel that they're not adequate enough, that you feel that there is something that more needs to be done to give better patient results, then connect with the www.theresetapproach.com and write to me like Anne-Ingrid. You can find me on WhatsApp. You can write me on email to ask questions, and I'm always there to answer. So Anne-Ingrid, I know that we're gonna see each other again, certainly this summer again. And but in the meanwhile, take care, and thank you again for willing to participate and sharing your stories. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the invitation.